Hello everybody, welcome to the I Am IT YouTube channel. My name is Shabazz and as ever, I am the IT Geek. We are back with another episode in my SC-100 Microsoft Cybersecurity Architect exam topic series. And we're over halfway now, we're moving on to topic 8 today. So last topic, topic 7, we kind of talked a lot about privileged access, privileged identity management, sort of governance within Entra as well. So a lot of interesting topics were covered. Kind of today we're going to move on to talking about more kind of security operations as well. So let's jump into the episode. So this is the SC-100 Microsoft Cybersecurity Architects exam series. This is topic 8, part 1 specifically. And in today's episode, we are starting the designing solutions for security operations topic. We do a bit of an introduction to SecOps. We'll then talk about designing security operation capabilities in hybrid and multi-cloud environments. And finally, we'll talk about designing centralized logging auditing, and then we'll move into a bit of a demo where we can look at some more relevant topics within SecOps and security operations. Let's do a bit of an introduction to SecOps first of all. It's a bit of an overview. When we talk about what is the main objective of SecOps, and it is essentially to detect and respond and recover from sort of attack or active attack. If you've done the SC 400 and SC 200, SC 200 exam specifically, you'll know some of the services we're going to be talking about. And as SecOps matures, you should be reactive. You should be able to react and respond to attacks that are detected by the specific tools. I'm going to talk about some of them, obviously, but also not just react. You want to be proactive as well. Be able to hunt for sort of any attacks that might slip past your reactive detections. And again, just constantly make sure you're reviewing your security services and any sort of anomaly alerts that you might have, strange alerts that you might have. So there's obviously a lot of integrated capabilities that allow you to manage your threats within your environment. One of the significant changes in sort of perspective that are sort of a hallmark of zero trust security framework is moving away from that trust by default, moving towards sort of a trust by exception. However, this is still requires a reliable way to establish trust where it's needed. Because you no longer assume that requests are trustworthy, establishing a means to attest to the trustworthiness of the request is critical to providing its sort of point in time trustworthiness. This attestation requires gaining visibility into the activities on and around the request. All these investments increase your sort of visibility, which is going to give you a better data, better information for making trust type decisions. However, adapting a zero trust approach in other areas like identity, endpoints, infrastructure, and networks increases the number of incident security operations center or SOC analysts you need to mitigate that. With each of these individual areas generating the relevant sort of alerts, an integrated capability is needed to manage the sort of resulting influx of data and again to better defend against threats and sort of validate trust in a transaction. So again, lots of aspects to it, the protection, the detection, the investigation, the remediation, the full life cycle of threat analytics and vulnerabilities, and needing those what we call threat experts. So this is quite a common image that you can see here. This is the sort of security operations or SecOps functions. And security operations teams often focus on maybe on sort of three main outcomes. First of all, we've got incident management, so, being able to manage attacks on the environment. And these are going to include being able to reactively respond to detected attacks, to proactively hunt for attacks and sort of slip through that traditional threat detection, to coordinate sort of the legal and communications and other business implications of the security incident itself. And also to sort of that incident preparation as well, so help the organisation prepare for the sort of future attacks. And incident preparation is sort of a broader strategic set of activities that are aimed at sort of building muscle memory and sort of context at all levels of the organisation. And this strategy prepares people to better handle major attacks and gain insights on those security process improvements. And we have the sort of different, those key outcomes. We have these different tiers as well, from the automation to tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 3. To deliver against those outcomes, security operations teams should be structured to focus on the key outcomes. In larger SecOps teams, the outcomes are often broken out between what we call sub-teams. We've got that first tier, which is the triage, which is tier one. This is the first line of sort of response of your security incidents. Triage is focused on sort of high volume of processing data of alerts and typically generated by automation tools. The triage process solve for the most common sort of incident types and resolve them, many within that team. More complex incidents or incidents that haven't been seen and resolved before should be escalated to what we have tier two, which is sort of the investigation. So tier two or investigation is focused on incidents that require further investigation, often requiring correlation of data points from multiple sources. This investigation tier looks to provide repeatable solutions to issues escalated to them. And if it enables, so then it's going to enable tier one to resolve sort of later recurrences of this issue type. Tier two will also respond to alerts against sort of business critical systems to reflect the severity of the risk that need to be acted on quickly. We then have the hunt, which is tier three. So this is focused primarily on proactive hunting for highly sophisticated attack processes and developing guidance to the wider teams for maturing security controls as a result. The tier three team also acts as an escalation point for the major incidents in that support forensic analysis and response sort of process as well. So we have this concept of SecOps modernization as well. So this is to evaluate, the elevation to business risk management, looking at metrics and goals as well, or the MTTA and MTTR. Looking at evolving your technology stack as well. It's not always about keeping that same technology stack, because as attacks get more mature and get more sophisticated, the tooling and technology you're using needs to do the same as well. And this concept of threat hunting, which is becoming more prominent now in SecOps teams, it's not just about being reactive to issues. To better secure your environment and to increase your posture, you used to be threat hunting and looking for any sort of anomalies within your alerts that might indicate the start of a long-term threat or a long-term attack. And as well, you need to make sure you manage those incidents and make sure key stakeholders within the business are alerted and communication sort of processes are in place for that incident, and everybody knows their responsibility when it comes to the incident. So let's talk about designing sort of security ops now in hybrid and multi-cloud environments. So unified operations is the international sort of or intentional international approach for maintaining one set of tools and processes to consistently manage each cloud provider through a common set of governance and sort of operation management practices. Successful hybrid, multi-cloud and edge strategies begin with a primary cloud platform. 3, 2, 1. Whether located in public or private cloud, your primary cloud platform hosts your operational progress and processes, along with a set of sort of defined cloud facilities. You need to make sure you implement sort of an extension, like Azure Arc or something like that, or a gateway to apply controls in your primary cloud provider across hybrid, multi-cloud, or edge deployments. You need to make sure you can manage and govern your operations consistently across heterogeneous and on-premises multi-cloud and edge environments. Some sort of basic features, all basic features are required to deliver a cloud adoption plan at scale. Things like search, index, group and tag, all sort of deployed assets, extending basic visibility and management. Being able to template, automate, and sort of extend tooling as well, sort of for consistent deployments. Create access and security boundaries, which are going to allow you to protect deployed assets. And then we've got this, more enhanced features then. And you likely need most, if not all, of these enhanced features to operate a hybrid and sort of multi-cloud environment at scale. Performance and sort of inventory reporting, security and compliance auditing and automation, as well as tracking and reporting on applications and dependencies as well. We've then got these automated controls that we need to put in place as well. So, try and automate your environment with loads of modernized sort of operations and, to optimize operational costs as well. Things like environment and in-guest policies, configuration and updates as well, and automating protection and recovery. And all these sort of features I like to already include sort of control sets you're currently using to operate your primary cloud provider. There are likely many other features and automated processes available in those set of controls as well. And those features are the primary control functionalities that should be available across your hybrid multi-cloud edge in your sort of unified operations solution. So the final topic in today's video is around designing centralized logging and auditing. So these are the different types of logs in Azure specifically. So Azure logs are categorized into different types. So we have control and management logs, which provide information about ARM, create, update, and delete operations. We have data plane logs, which provide information about events raised as part of the Azure resource usage. Windows events, things like that. We have process events. These provide information and analysis about events and alerts. Things like alerts from Defender for Cloud or Microsoft Defender for 365. We have logging data that can provide insights about your applications. These are going to help you to troubleshoot any problems that have occurred and prevent potential ones in the future. It's going to improve application performance and maintainability as well. It's going to allow you to automate actions that would otherwise require sort of manual intervention as well. There are multiple controls for logging and auditing from Microsoft Cloud specifically. So Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark provides sort of guidance on designing logging capabilities, which is summarized in the table that we can see here. So we obviously have the different control numbers on the left hand side, and we can take a look at some of these in a demo shortly. And then they all have a title. They all obviously have a title. They have a summary, and essentially the different controls depend on there's obviously network controls, and these are all specific logging controls. So LT is logging for logging control, and the different control numbers. So there's multiple ones that you can adhere to. In the title, obviously, it's going to give you an explanation. So here we have, for example, LT3, which is enable logging for security investigation. And the summary gives you a bit more information in that. But the key thing is you get a remediation list. So it tells you how to remediate this specific control and how to adhere to it. Some of the others you can see here as well, enable network logging, centralized security logging, and also configure log storage attention. And these are all controls as part of Defender for Cloud in the sort of regulatory remediation section, which we'll take a look at in the demo. These include sort of security controls that also sort of explicit guidance, which is contained as well on the action and how you can action it, as I mentioned. And then obviously Azure has its sort of centralized logging as well. And there's some recommendations from the Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark on Azure as well. So you need to make sure that that we are integrating all the sort of Azure activity logs into a central location. Normally that's Log Analytics workspace. You can obviously use Azure Monitor, and that's going to allow you to query and perform analytics, using things like custom query and things like that, or KQL queries. You can also create alerts that are going to allow you to use those logs, aggregate from Azure services, endpoint devices, and network resources. And finally, you can enable and onboard data into Microsoft Sentinel. And that's going to provide the sort of security information or CM and SOAR capabilities as well. So this is how the sort of architecture of Azure Monitor looks. Azure Monitor obviously collects and aggregates the data from sort of every layer and component of your system into a common data platform. It correlates data across Azure subscriptions and tenants in addition to hosting data from other services as well. Because this data is stored together, it can be correlated and analysed using sort of a common set of tools. The data can then be used for analysis and visualizations to help you understand how your applications are performing and responding automatically to system events. Azure Monitor also includes like a SCOM managed instance as well. This can allow you to move your on-premises SCOM installations into the sort of cloud as well. The diagram we see here shows us Azure Monitor system components. They include the data sources. So these are the types of data collected from each sort of monitored resource. The data platform, which is made up of the sort of data stores for collected data. The functions and components that consume the data. This includes analysis, visualization, insights, and response. And the services that integrate with Azure Monitor, and these are going to provide that additional functionality that are integrated throughout that system. So let's talk about, just summarize essentially some of the key takeaways of this of this video. So first of all, we've got those sort of robust logging and tracing that are particularly important to cloud applications. This includes making all things observable, so tracing records, a path through the system, and helps you pinpoint bottlenecks or performance issues. The instrument for monitoring as well. Monitoring gives insights into how well or poorly an application is performing in terms of its availability and performance and health. An instrument for sort of that root cause analysis as well. So root cause analysis is a process of finding underlying sort of causes of the failures, making sure we use sort of distributed tracing, and this is designed for sort of concurrency, asynchrony, and sort of cloud at scale. Make sure you standardize your logs and your metrics as well. Define that common schema in your logs and metrics. It's going to include things like correlation ID, event name, IP address, things like that. Point 6, we see automate those management tasks. This is going to include provisioning, deployment, and monitoring. Treat configuration as code. Check configuration files to version control systems and make sure you can track versions of changes to easily roll back. So a lot of things we can do around logging and auditing to make it more robust and be more proactive around logging and auditing. So we're going to jump into the portal now to do a bit of a demo. We're going to do a demo of sort of the remediation of the regulatory requirements, as we mentioned, looking at those different sort of centralized logging that we can do through Defender for Cloud. So let's jump into the portal. Welcome back. We are back in the demo portal, and this is the demo for topic 8, part 1. So what we're going to look at here is the Microsoft Defender portal first of all. So we're going to do that by Defender for Cloud. And then I just want to go down to cloud security and look at the regulatory. Because what we're going to look at is logs and auditing regulatory compliance. And we saw some of that we talked about it and we touched on it in the actual theory part of it, where we talked about the Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark, or MCSB, and that there is actually a logging and threat detection aspect of it. And it started with LT, if you remember. So this is where we saw it had LT1 to LT7. And so here, as you can see, some of these I'm already adhering to somehow. I don't know. It's my demo tenant, so I'm not doing it on purpose. But we saw some of these in the table. But let's just go through these in a bit more detail. So this control is on enabling threat detection capabilities. And as obviously Defender for Cloud is multi. And what that means is it allows us to automate the sort of control assessment, not just in Azure, but in AWS and GCP. Obviously for me, that's not, it's not in scope because I don't have AWS. I'm not connected in AWS or GCP to my Defender for Cloud platform. So it doesn't affect me, and it doesn't, I don't have to do anything. It's already green because I've not got any resources to protect. So it does that. So if sometimes you're just compliant because you don't have any resources to protect. So like for example, that one there, the Microsoft Defender for SQL, I don't have anything to protect, so it becomes green. Great. But for example, some of the enabling threat detection capabilities control, which is LT1, includes like looking at Defender for Azure SQL, looking for sort of a Defender for SQL that should be enabled for unprotected Azure servers. But it also tells you the resource type that you need to protect it at. So for this one, this is a subscription level. So it doesn't matter if I don't have any sort of SQL Server databases, I still need to protect my subscription, so I can enable that on my subscription. And we'll take a look at, we'll go a bit deeper dive into that. Other things are sort of Microsoft Defender storage plan as well should be enabled. But this is at the Azure resource level. So if I've got a storage plan, so I've developed a storage, I need to enable that within Azure for my single storage account. But as we go into one of these, let's have a look at the top one there. We'll have a look at how to remediate. So again, it gives you a bit of a description, it tells you the severity. And this is basically the freshness interval is after how many hours or after how many days is this going to refresh, so it can check if if you've got healthy resources or not. So mine obviously says 24 hours. So after 24 hours, once I put in the remediation steps, it will refresh. So here I go, look at remediation steps. It tells you what the quick fix is. You can go to the fix option here, select the actual resource and go to fix.
Or you can do manual, so you can go to Azure SQL Database Service in this as Azure subscription. You can enable the Defender for Cloud environment settings. So again, it gives you information on how you can enable that. It does that throughout. So we'll look at some of the others here. LT2, which is enable threat detection for identity and access management. So this is all around logging and threat detection. Again, a lot of the controls actually repeat themselves. So if you fix it for one, in one control, it's going to fix it for the other as well. So you can complete multiple controls, and it'll affect more than just that specific one. And this is very similar, if not the exact same, if you look at it. Yeah, pretty much the exact same. So again, we can, once we've completed all these, I'd automatically turn LT2 green as well. I'll bet my bottom dollar. No, not quite. Okay, so this one's a bit different. Here we've got diagnostic logs and key vaults should be enabled. I've got a couple of key vaults there. Auditing in SQL Server should be enabled. I've got a SQL Server, I think that's for my Nerdio deployment. And then it talks about diagnostic logs in server bus. I don't have any server bus, so that's don't need that. It talks about logs in Azure Streams Analysis. I'm not using that either, so it doesn't need protecting. But again, if we just go into diagnostic logs and key vault, again, it tells us the two resources that need to be resolved. I can go to either fix on the remediation steps, or I can go to enable, do it manually. But let's just do the fix option here. And then what workspace ID, I'm just going to select any here. Let's do my default one. And then fix those two resources. And that should hopefully fix in 30 minutes, that'll refresh and that'll turn green. So yeah, just want to show you a little bit around these sort of controls within regulatory compliance and Defender for Cloud, because we'd obviously speak, there you go, it's completed. We did actually speak about this in the sort of theory, so I thought it'd be good to show you how that works. Yeah, hope you've enjoyed the episode. We are rattling through the episodes. Obviously, we started topic 8 now. So we've got 15 topics in total. So please, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. I'm aiming for 20k. I'm like, I'd say I'm more than halfway there, but not quite three quarters way there. I've got till the, I'm giving myself to the end of the year. It's a very high aim. It's a very difficult target, but I made it to 10k. And that was my original target for the end of the year. I made it to 10k quite quickly. So I'm hoping, the content that coming up. Obviously, I have the SC-100. I've got some more exam content that I'm planning as well. So hopefully you find that useful and you can, make you subscribe. So hit that subscribe button. Make sure you, comment, give me some feedback. And yeah, hopefully just use some of the useful links as well. I'll put in the description. I've got the Measure Up URL for a discount exam. So Measure Up are the sort of official exam partner for Microsoft exams. So there's a discount exam for the SC-100. I suggest you invest in that because it's going to help you with your preparation. There's also links to Microsoft Learn for documentation on SC-100. It will help you. It's free. Microsoft Learn is always cracking content, so I definitely recommend. It's free content as well, so by all means use that. And also the GitHub repository for I won't call them labs, they're more case studies, but again, it's going to help you your prep, so I suggest you review those as well. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.